What's going on? Welcome to Vault-Tec Productions. Today I got some more LEGO Fallout characters for you, and figures of all kinds. This is going to be a big showcase of all kinds of Fallout figures I've made, mostly focusing on the named characters. You can see my little case here. This is the one I'm using specifically for my named characters and stuff. Each row representing a specific game, with Fallout 3 on top, then New Vegas, and then Fallout 4. And unfortunately, if you're a fan of 3 New Vegas, I don't have too many new figures from that game, as Fallout 4 was the one that needed the most spaces filled in. But yeah, I have managed to completely fill this thing out with characters, and we're going to be taking a look at all those. There have been a couple changes to the old ones. I'm not going to talk about them too much, but they have got a update here or there for some of them. And so yeah, let's go ahead and get into this, starting with Fallout 3. We got 3 new characters. Alright, so we're starting with this guy here. Hopefully you can tell who he is. If you've played Fallout 3, I'm sure you would recognize him. It is Lucas Sims. And I should go ahead and say, hopefully no offense will be taken when I put it in this words, but one of the big issues with doing figures like this, and in general trying to use skin tone, which I would much rather prefer over the classic yellow, but having something specific like a black guy with a beard is actually not the most easy thing to get. Luckily, this is a pretty new face print from the Disney Plus Marvel CMFs they did, from the Star-Lord T'Challa cross figure. And yeah, it kind of worked out really nicely. I just happened to have a duplicate of him and didn't even really notice the face until later, and then I was like, oh, that's perfect. Finally, a black guy with a beard. Wouldn't think it'd be that hard, but yeah, getting especially non-white figures is pretty challenging with specific accessories or facial stuff like that. And yeah, about the actual torso and stuff though, it's not super accurate, specifically color-wise. In the game, he's got more of like a dark brown duster, and this is just black. It's the Lone Ranger outfit and stuff. Not sure where the hat's from. Might be the same thing, but yeah, not super accurate color-wise and stuff, but it's a nice sheriff duster and stuff, and sheriff hat. And the star is pretty good, pretty accurate there. And I did give him his Chinese assault rifle like he does have in the game. And yeah, not too much to say about this guy. Pretty simple one, pretty easy to do one. But yeah, as long as he's recognizable and you can tell who he is, I think that's fine. So, moving on. Alright, so if you played Fallout 3, hopefully you would recognize this man. It is Butch himself, with his Butch's toothpick there. Another pretty simple one. Plenty of people, I'm sure, have used this chest piece before. I should also mention, lots of people do like to paint this chest piece, paint the just down the middle of it, and do like a vault suit underneath the jacket. And that's a really effective way of doing it, but, you know, I'm just trying to use official parts and stuff like that. I should also say his hip piece is not yellow or anything like that. It's bright orange or something. Pretty sure it's bright orange, which just kind of gives it this odd shine. You probably can't see it on camera too well, but especially in person, you can tell it's not just the plain Lego yellow, and it has that kind of like, I don't know, shine to it that I think better reflects the vault suits. And yeah, he's got a big old grin face. I think it's not the best face for him, maybe, but I quite like it. He's all giddy and getting sadistic or something. And yeah, very simple. Not too much to say about him. So I guess we'll move on. Alright, hopefully you can tell who this is. Maybe only because you know we're talking about Fallout 3, but this is supposed to be Colonel Autumn. It's not the most accurate figure. It's just kind of got some military general type prints and stuff, except for the legs, which is one of my favorite leg prints, specifically the closed one, but I only had one of those, and so I'm using this open one for him, which probably is a little more accurate, but I really don't like that like striped sweater thing in the middle there. But yeah, he's got his 10 mil and some nice hair with a little bit of printing on it, but might not be the most accurate hairpiece, but it's what I had, and I think he came out alright. He's not one of my favorites, though. But that'll do it for Fallout 3. Now we'll move on to some of the New Vegas characters I've got. I suppose we'll start with this guy here. Probably pretty obvious who this is. It is supposed to be Raoul in his mechanic jumpsuit there, and he's got his revolver. As always, I'm just using those fantasy era skulls for the ghoul heads. Hopefully I can get some much better prints and stuff to represent the ghouls, but this works for me for now and keeps it consistent. So yeah, he's got his mechanic jumpsuit and stuff, and it's got the name and stuff there, which is pretty sweet. Not the right name or anything, but I'm pretty sure it's in the right place. And so yeah, I think this is just one of the more easy to recognize ones. He's also got some printing on the legs. Kind of hard to see it right now with the lighting, but yeah, I think he came out pretty well. Pretty good representation of him, at least. And so yeah, moving on to the next one. Alright, now this might be one of the more niche ones, but it is Elder Elijah, Father Elijah, from the Dead Money DLC in Fallout New Vegas. I did give him a build for the hollow rifle. It's not great, but I wanted to make sure he had something like that. And I could talk about that as well, but probably shouldn't talk about it too much. The hollow rifle is just kind of a crappy hollow rifle build. But yeah, in general, this is kind of one of the more cheaty figures, probably, as I already had a Brotherhood Elder using the same torso and legs and stuff. And I just decided to turn into a named Elder from the games. And who better than Father Elijah? And so yeah, he's just kind of an angry old man in a Brotherhood robe. So not too much to say about him, but yeah, moving on. Alright, and as I was saying with Lucas Sims about having those accessories that are hard to get, this is obviously Boon, and not really an accurate Boon. He's all smiley, which Boon is a very, dark and brooding guy. And yeah, it's really hard to get skin tone minifigures with sunglasses or other facial accessories like glasses of some sort, specifically sunglasses. And so yeah, this is one of the only ones that they've ever made. Not exactly sure how many have been made, but yeah, not super great. A little too happy. The sunglasses actually look pretty good, and there's plenty more figures that would need this face. I'm going to go ahead and show you just a quick head swap, or hair swap, and do it like that, and you pretty much got Deacon there from Fallout 4. I'm not counting this as one of the figures, but just thought I'd show you, as you'd pretty much have to use the exact same face if you wanted to do Deacon. And Deacon also just happens to have a sniper rifle, I'm pretty sure, so that kind of works out pretty funnily. They also have very similar outfits. And so yeah, Deacon or Boon, your choice, I suppose. I was going with Boon, of course, though. And yeah, also, ooh, I should definitely mention this. The beret piece, never made in red. How the heck has that happened? I literally cannot believe that they haven't made the beret in red. Like, it just seems really weird that they haven't done that. But obviously, as soon as they do, that is the main thing that will bump this figure up to the next level. But until then, he's just got this boring black beret. And yeah, also like tank top or like thin, just like t-shirts with like no designs on them are also pretty rare, if existing at all. And so yeah, he's got pretty much just Han Solo from the neck down, which is unfortunate, but gotta do what you gotta do. Alright, so we're gonna move on. Once again, from Dead Money, we have Dean Domino. Now, the biggest problem with this one is the face. That is, I believe, a Mr. Freeze face, from Batman. And I was just ordering one from one Bricklink store, and they happen to have this face, which is white, which I am using, of course, for the ghouls, and he is one. And specifically has those goggles, which, you thought having a skin tone figure with sunglasses was hard. Try to get a ghoul face with sunglasses, so yeah, it's probably as good as it's ever gonna get. It kind of really looks like a really pale James Bond or something, but yeah, as I said, this is one of my least favorite. Hopefully I can make a better one at some point. The tuxedo and stuff looks pretty good. Of course, Dean's is all ripped up though. But yeah, not very happy with this guy. Just did what I could. So I'm gonna move on to Fallout 4 now. I got tons of figures from that one. And I guess we'll start with this guy here. So it's Sturgis. Now before you say anything, yeah, people have done more or less this exact same figure before, maybe except the face. But Sturgis is just kind of he is a pretty, I guess, recognizable figure from the game. He has a unique voice actor and stuff like that. But yeah, very simple. LEGO just happened to make this mechanic jumpsuit. I believe it was part of a CMF. And it's more or less just perfect for Sturgis. And so plenty of other people have done almost this exact figure before. But I do think the face is pretty good for him. He has like a nice chiseled face or something. It's pretty greasy and covered with like, I think he has some like sideburns or something maybe, but it's been a while since I've seen him. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty nice face for him. And I gave him a 10 mil there. But yeah, pretty simple, pretty common. Other people have done almost this exact figure, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Moving on, we have Piper here. Hopefully you could tell that is her. So yeah, the torso is pretty weird. This is actually, I believe, a pretty expensive torso, relatively speaking. It's got a lot more going on than it should for Piper. But I do have an alternative here. Some people have used this one instead, but I still prefer this one on the left. This is a little bit just kind of different style than what she has in game, and it's also zipped up and stuff like that. And this one to me has more of that reporter look. I believe it's from like someone running a train or something, but it does have, well, yeah, it's got like the train logos and stuff, but it's got the badge and stuff like that, which I feel gives it like a reporter look, and she is one. So, and as for the legs, doesn't match up color-wise, but I had this leg print with some brown coattails, which almost matches the dark red. Because it's printed on here, though, it definitely does not match up as well as the normal piece colors do, but it's pretty much all I had to try and get those coattails following down from her jacket. So, and gave her my Silence 22 there. Not a super great one, but as I said, you could just use something like this instead if you prefer that kind of design. So, moving on. Alright, I think I mentioned one of the other figures being kind of cheaty, but this one is really cheaty because it is MCCReady, and it's a very accurate MCCReady. It's just not Fallout 4 MCCReady. I do have Mayor MCCReady here from Little Lamplight from Fallout 3, and I am counting him as one of my Fallout 4 figures. It is MCCReady, it's just a younger version, but I could just so easily swap the Mechanist from my Fallout 3 row and swap him and them, since the Mechanist is also in Fallout 4, but I think this was alright. This one came out really well. He's actually one of my absolute favorites. I should mention the goggles on the helmet there is definitely an illegal technique. They're just kind of being held on by gravity and just being squeezed on there or something. But yeah, not too much to say about him. He's got his hunting rifle, and he's gonna talk a lot of shit to the Mungos and whatnot. And so yeah, I just love this figure. It's very accurate to how he looks in Fallout 3, and I'm very happy with how this one came out. But yeah, technically kind of cheaty since it's not the Fallout 4 version, but this is the version I could make. So, alright, moving on. Alright, now this is one of the big special ones. This is what it's all about right here. You know who this is. Everybody knows who this is. It's Elder Maxon from Fallout 4. I will go ahead and say the face is the most inaccurate thing. He is way too old. But I really just wanted to get those like shaggy sideburns that are really thick at the bottom. And the hairpiece is not super great either. But yeah, I think it does its job enough. The facial hair specifically is what I was going for. Would have been nice to get the scar on there though. Speaking about the torso print though, so this torso is amazing. Whenever I saw it on Bricklink, I knew exactly what I was going to use it for. Obviously it's got the puffy, bomber collar and stuff like that, but specifically look at what's underneath there. that looks almost exactly like the BOS officer uniform. Almost exactly, at least for the top of it. And that was very sweet, and so it made a pretty accurate one, even if it's got these straps and stuff on it. As for the legs, not super accurate. I do have a couple other options for the legs as well, though. Not actually sure where these legs are from. They got these dark red stripes going down, which I felt just emulated his open coat just a little bit, but obviously that's not a great look. And I did give him this Gatling laser. That's what he uses in-game because he's such a baller. And he's got the little back accessory for that as well. But I'm going to go ahead and leg swap him for you so you can see some of the alternative options. I'll also take that back part off so you can see the back of that torso if you haven't seen it. Alright, option number one is this for the legs. Don't really like this one. It is open coattails, but like got these designs on it and stuff. There's the back of that. Very nice. But yeah, that's leg option number one. Not a fan of that one though. And this is another option. It's a little bit simplistic though. But if you just really wanted to go and just have those black coattails, this is probably the best option. But it's very simple. Doesn't really match up though. And I was fine with using these legs, even if they're kind of weird. The straps kind of don't necessarily match the straps on the torso, but kind of all matched up, just having him have all these straps and things all over him. But this is definitely another good option for the legs. But yeah, I hopefully will get a more accurate face. But yeah, he's just really old. Maybe this is Maxon if he actually survives and lives another 20 years or something, but yep, moving on. Alright, so I forgot to build him a laser musket before I did this video, but everyone knows who this is. It's Preston Garvey. Not a super accurate one. I got a comment about Preston Garvey before, and I was trying to refuse to make him due to the fact we really don't have enough accurate parts to make him, but I guess you could say that about a lot of the figures I've showed today. But yeah, it's pretty simple. The thing I like the least is just the fact that the brown, he's got a brown hat and the brown boots there, which is obviously the same color as his skin tone, which is kind of weird, but I think it's not too bad. Like, you can still tell that's just like boots, and you know, they're not, the colors aren't matching up super well. As far as the hat, it might actually be the old brown as well, so that works out kind of nicely. But yeah, Preston Garvey, he's about to tell you about some other settlement that needs help, so we're gonna get him out of here before he freaking spams my stupid quest log. This is Desdemona, leader of the railroad. Not super accurate. One thing that I think would help a lot is if I had some sleeves for her arms. I've been using the bare arms to represent lots of short sleeve figures just due to the fact that skin tone short sleeves still are pretty rare and hard to get. But otherwise, I think this figure is pretty nice. She has a scarf that is definitely missing here, but not too much I can do about that. I think the hair is pretty nice, and the face is, you know, it works all right. And yeah, Desdemona, she's one of the more recognizable, iconic characters, being one of the faction leaders, which I suppose I have quite a few of now. I was trying to do a Sean at some point, but I just didn't have one of those chess pieces on me, so or a chess piece for it. Alright, and that'll do it for all of those figures. I do actually have some bonus Fallout 4 characters for you, though. Starting with Grognak. Oh yeah, the Barbarian. Not super great. I would very much like a different hairpiece. And his legs are just wrong in general. Not a loincloth, just some straight up pants, but I just didn't have any skin tone loincloth type pieces, but he's got all of his muscles and his big axe, and yeah, it's Grognak. Speaking of the comic book characters, though, our other bonus Fallout 4 figure, the Silver Shroud. So he is using that same coattail piece I was showing earlier for Maxon. I do have two of them, so I didn't have to take the other one, though. And I actually think this figure came out pretty well. It's pretty clearly the Silver Shroud. Just the printing works out pretty well for him. He's got his submachine gun and everything. And yeah, I think this one came out pretty well. So that'll do it for all the named characters, but we're not done there. I also have a few other characters to show you. Alright, and now moving on to more of the miscellaneous type figures. I have an update to my Enclave Power Armor. Very clearly, it is XO2 now, and I think it actually came out really well. The silver on the face is a little bit too much standoutish, but I think this figure looks amazing now. Very clearly an Enclave soldier. Doing the backwards ear technique there to get those horns on the back. I totally forgot that was a thing when I originally did my Enclave armor, but I remembered that that is a thing you can do. And so yeah, he's got the horns on the back and his gas mask now that he's not actually got a helmet. And heck yeah, I just love this figure. I think it's a very worthy update. And yeah, we're going to move on now. I got some miscellaneous Fallout 3 figures for you. Guess we'll start with this one here. I don't know why I've been thinking of Dead Money so much, but this is one of 2 ghost people I have. This torso is actually very expensive. As you can see, he has arm printing. I think it's from Scarecrow from the Batman or something. But yeah, pretty expensive torso, and not sure what the face is from, but it's got those big goggle eyes, which is just great for the ghost people. And he's got a spear, of course. I do have 2 ghost people though. This is the other one. I was trying to use those new hood pieces to see if you could get the gas mask in between them. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out size-wise, but I did definitely want a ghost person with a hood as well. And just a shame that the bottom of that face does not look as good. And also a shame you can't get a gas mask piece in there with one of the hoods, but maybe a new piece will change that at some point. This is actually a different torso. It's very similar though. Probably another Scarecrow print, just from a different set or something, but this one is also expensive. Don't know why these Scarecrow prints are so expensive, but yep, another ghost person there. But continuing on with the New Vegas DLC characters, I think this one came out pretty well. We got a Y13 Trauma Override Harness. So yeah, I did kind of steal a little bit of design from this one. I saw someone else who made one of these, and they did the same thing with the neck bracket and the air tanks on the back. And I actually tried not to do that, but unfortunately the fishbowl just would not fit without just a little bit more space there, so I ended up having to do that. But I did get a chest piece that worked really nice for him. This is specifically like a Robin, also Batman figure, like a Robin from Batman. I did have it backwards though. Hopefully I can tear this off quickly for you. Yeah, so it's backwards. I swapped the arms around. This is technically the front of it, but I just wanted this look for him. It was pretty nice, pretty accurate, looking like that. And yeah, just a skull and a fishbowl. It's a pretty nice figure, pretty accurate, and pretty iconic to that DLC. And yeah, he's got his laser rifle, as the have less energy weapons a lot of the time, but yep, that will do it for those miscellaneous New Vegas figures. But we're not done with the figures yet. So I got some of my T-51s here. I got 6 of them from the looks of it. And these are the newer designs I've been doing for that. And I have some of my T-45 on the other side. I did want to show these off. I did switch the legs to a different print, and I think these guys look a lot better now. I haven't really messed with the Brotherhood Outcast version yet, but I think the regular T-45s are looking a lot better now with those new leg prints. But I thought I'd go ahead and show you how my new Brotherhood army is coming along. And yeah, pretty sweet. Speaking of armies though, we got one of my favorite armies here to talk about. It's the Legion, so I do have some more Legion. I do have some more Legion figures. This is the same recruit design I've had for a while, but I did make a couple more. And this guy here, I'm thinking he's more like a Frumentari or something like that, maybe a Legion Explorer, just to add a little bit of diversity to those guys. And then of course we have this Centurion here. I really should show this guy up close though. He is a very cool figure, very over-designed. And so yeah, this is my Legion Centurion design I'm going with right now. He's got a little red cape and stuff, and an armored skirt. I really love how this figure came out. The Legion Centurions have a T-45 armor for their right arm, and the best I could do to imitate that is actually give him his right arm is the same color as my T-51's. It's the flat silver or whatever color it is. And unfortunately there's no shoulder piece that's going to obviously be a great representation of the T-45 shoulder, but I just wanted to show some of that bulk there on that shoulder just to represent that he was armored there heavily, and the other arm is bare, of course. And I put a glove on this hand and a no glove on this hand. Technically both of his hands should have gloves, but the glove on his left hand specifically is like a nice longer glove, and I just kind of wanted to represent that dichotomy between his arms. And so yeah, that's kind of how he came out. He's using the Roman Commander helmet, which is a pretty expensive figure, definitely not one you're going to want to have to amass too many of. Luckily you don't want that many Centurions, being one of the higher ranking Legion officers. But I also have, you probably noticed it a second ago, but a work in progress Lanius. Work in progress. He's looking pretty great so far, but unfortunately I had to stop here because there's just no real way to do the helmet right now. Sorry. It's got a plume as well as horns coming out of the side, and as far as I'm aware there's no current piece that will allow the horns on the side plus the plume hole on top, so I'm just waiting on something gotta figure something out for that. But for now he's just a helmetless Legate Lanius, but he is looking pretty sweet, using the Spartan torso for his torso. Pretty expensive to get those Roman and Greek figures, but for Lanius, definitely worth it. I'll go ahead and show you what that torso looks like underneath that beard in case you haven't seen the Spartan figure. This is the original one, and yeah, pretty sweet Lanius there. And I think that will do it for all the figures today. Actually, I should show you, I've been kind of working on like a fake NCR. They're not great, just don't really have the right parts and stuff for that, but this one's coming out pretty nicely. Obviously NCR Ranger Patrolman, but if I could get that hat in dark brown, they just haven't made it in that color yet, but if they make that hat in dark brown, that will definitely elevate that figure to be a little more accurate. But kind of just working on this NCR in the background. Not too much I can do about it. Like, this helmet here is literally perfect for the NCR, but it's specifically a hat-hair combo, female kind of aesthetic, and unfortunate that we can't just get like this helmet plain, but maybe at some point that will happen. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and hope to see you in the next one. Hopefully I can get some builds and stuff to show off. Oh, sorry, forgot one thing. Paladin Dance, work in progress, which is why I didn't show him earlier. Don't really have any idea for what I want to do for the torso or anything, but as far as the face and the hair, I think that's a pretty good Paladin Dance. But as I was saying, thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Hopefully I can get some Fallout mocks going here soon, and yeah, have a great day, everybody.